Good Thursday, everyone. I'm meteorologist Dave Snyder at the National Weather Service with Alaska statewide weather. Looking at the weather map, it's fairly easy to see that things look a little bit different than they did just a week ago. With high pressure still sitting across the central and eastern Gulf of Alaska, we're still finding a relatively clear day across most of southeast, and a cluster of thunderstorms that was once across the Copper River Basin and the eastern interior has now focused its attention mostly on the Yukon. However, low pressure moving across the central and eastern Aleutians is still moving northward, and that's putting the big squeeze on the heat right into the interior. With that, a flood watch is still in effect for the Tanana River and glacial rivers draining the eastern Alaska Range, including the Nebezna and Chisana rivers. That will last through Saturday afternoon. With the prolonged warm temperatures and melting of glaciers in the eastern Alaska Range, we've seen results in the high water levels, mainly on the glacial-fed rivers. Water levels on the upper Tanana, Nebezna, and Chisana rivers and other glacially fed rivers are near bankfull. Warm weather over the area for the next 2 days may raise river levels slightly higher, and minor flooding in some low-lying areas is possible. Temperatures in the eastern Alaska Range will begin to cool some this weekend, and water levels on the glacially fed rivers are expected to gradually begin falling. You'll see some of that cooler and wetter weather moving into southwestern Alaska. Initially, rain and some areas of drizzle and fog are expected up and down the Cook Inlet, over Kodiak, and of course across the Alaskan Peninsula. The main core of low pressure will still be in the western Gulf by Friday afternoon. It drops to 994 millibars. High pressure is still in charge of the eastern Gulf, though some of the visibility could be dropping to 1 nautical mile or less, especially as you move offshore from southeast. For the interior, scattered thunderstorms may develop again as we head into the heat of the day for Friday. A cold front is approaching from the Chukchi Seacoast and starts to creep its way onto the Arctic coast, all the way back toward the Gulf of Anadyr. So places like Kotzebue and Kivalina and the western half of the Seward Peninsula, including Nome, could be looking at some rain as we head into Friday. For Saturday, the front stalls out across the Arctic. With that, could focus some showers and drizzle and certainly fog and maybe even gusty winds across the Arctic coast and especially across the Chukchi Seacoast into the Kotzebue Sound region. That should keep most of the interior, and especially the eastern interior, in the warm spot of the weather pattern. That means scattered showers and storms may redevelop there. Low pressure moves across Bristol Bay at 1,000 millibars, and the occluded front begins to die off. However, southerly winds continue to bring rain to south central and parts of the central Gulf. With Alaska statewide weather, I'm meteorologist Dave Snyder.